Hey guys, Raya here. I've always been interested in the beauty of glass and the techniques used to make art with it. When I was a kid, I read a fantasy book about a glass maker, and the author wrote about actually learning to make glass as part of her preparation for writing the book. And I've wanted that experience for myself ever since. So I decided to finally take some classes at a local glass studio. Watch as I give it a try. I scheduled classes at a local glass studio. The building was full of really pretty glass sculptures and art. The first class I signed up for was stained glass. There were so many beautiful designs of all sizes that were so intricate and beautiful. The studio also does a lot of work with painting on stained glass, which allows for really detailed art. It was incredible to see it all. The stained glass studio was behind closed doors because the commissioned art is all kept secret until delivery and installation. The stained glass workspace was huge. The amount of large colored sheets of glass was just incredible to see. There were small pieces all laid out for our designs to pick whatever color combinations we wanted. I signed up to do a ladybug. I decided to make the wings green because it's my favorite color and use just a standard black for the head and body. The first step was to take the template stickers and place them on the glass. The instructor gave us the advice to utilize existing straight edges and to make sure there was enough glass on the other sides to get straight lines for easy breaks. I started by making score lines down the middle to separate each template piece. The scoring tool has oil that comes out with the blade to make a clean line. The curves of the pieces can be tricky. You want to go along the curve, but not too much, otherwise it can break the piece under the sticker in a way you don't want. So I did some smaller straight lines from the edge to the sticker. I cleaned off the last little piece, and that was the head complete. I followed the same process for all the other pieces. I had a hard time lining up the sight on the blade with the edge of the sticker at first, but I got better as I did each piece. Then I passed them all off with the instructor, who just cleaned up a couple small edges, and I headed to the grinder. The grinder was pretty easy to use, just a foot pedal to start the machine up and a spinning tool in the middle to smooth out the edges. It took quite a bit of time to get things really smooth and lined up with the sticker. But it was kind of satisfying to get clean edges in the end. Then I got the pieces cleaned off with a rag with rubbing alcohol and lined each edge with this copper tape. The instructor told us to go slow to make sure the glass was centered on the tape so it looked even in the end. I used this plastic tool to press the tape over the edge and flatten it. Then I used the end of a Sharpie to smooth out the wrinkles in the tape. It was kind of crazy how well the Sharpie worked to clean it up. And I followed the same process for all the other pieces. The next step was making the antenna for the ladybug. I took this copper wire and bent it in half, then curved the two ends into a small curl. Then it was time to solder. Before using the soldering iron, I coated all the copper tape in flux, which removes oxidation and wets the surface to help create a true bond between the soldering metal and the copper tape. I've never soldered before, so it was a steep learning curve. The iron gets really hot, and you just melt the metal right onto the copper tape. I definitely was putting too much to start. It ended up being really thick to begin with. It was really satisfying to solder the edges because it was just like painting metal with how easily the metal applied to the tape. Then I removed the tape to flux and solder the other side. The metal got stuck to the ladybug at one point because it cools so quickly, but I just had to hold the iron to the stuck point to release it. I finished up the joints and tried to smooth it all out. Then I lined the edge on the back side. I soldered the outer edge of the whole thing and tried to drip the extra metal off as I went. The glass got really hot during this part, so the process took a while. It was crazy how the metal stayed liquid as a drop on the wood. It was kind of fun to play with. Then I went over all the joints to try to smooth them out and pull some of the extra off the edges. The last step for soldering was to add a little ring to the edge to make the ladybug able to hang. I used a copper ring and added it to the corner. following the same soldering process. Then I cleaned the whole thing off with the alcohol again, and I used a special glass paint to add dots to it. And it was done. The finished ladybug was so cute. I think it turned out pretty good for my first time. I had a lot of fun, and I definitely think I'll try this again. Thanks for watching.